As you know, 80% of Americans are overweight, and I'm going to discuss Tdos syndrome with you. This is based on a scientific research, not what I believe, not what I don't believe. What I have to share with you is not to scare you to death, but to scare you to health. Our airways are polluted with diet company ads such as South Beach, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Weight Watchers, etc. They're celebrating the fact that people lose a pound a week. If you have 20 pounds to lose on any conventional diet, you're looking at 20 weeks. Dieting is completely insane because it's never about calories. The enemy is not calories, it's toxins. So, what is Tdos? T stands for toxicity, D is for nutritional deficiency, O is for overweight or obese, S is for stress. So I'm going to talk about all of that. According to the American Society of Endocrinologists, chemicals are in what we drink, what we breathe, what we eat, what we put on our skin, what we put in our shampoos, our toothpaste. These chemicals, once they enter the body, have only one defense against toxins, and that's to take the chemicals and stuff it into a fat cell. And no amount of diet or exercise will get rid of it. Diet and exercise, even if you eat organic, is about 10% of the solution. We have between 1 and 2,000 chemicals stored both in our adipose tissue, which is the outer layer of fat, but more importantly is in the visceral fat, which is within our organs, very deep inside. And in men, it's the main thing we have to worry about as far as heart attacks go. We are storing these chemicals, and no amount of gym, no amount of saunas, no amount of running, no amount of organic foods will get rid of it. The good news is the body has a natural detoxification methodology of systems, but don't have enough of these critically important key elements that allow our bodies to make more toxic hunters. And I'll go over that a little bit later, what that means. I think we can agree that we're living in a toxic world. So let's talk about T, toxicity. They just finished a study of 44,000 municipal water supplies across this country, and what did they find? In every one of the drinking supplies, they found an average of 300 to 600 chemicals. Mercury, iodine, arsenic, herbicide, pesticides, Teflon, Lipitor, Wellbutrin, and a whole array of chemicals, drugs, and pills that we are ingesting when we drink our water. I'm going to give you 3 statistics from the American Cancer Society in 1991, and that was the year my son was born, so this is crazy for me to even think. But 1 in 15 women got breast cancer. This year it's 1 in 8, and it's in 10 years they're saying that it could be 1 in 3. Of 3 babies born in the United States today, 1 in 3 will become diabetic, and there will not be enough insulin for these kids. In 1990, 1 in 10,000 children were diagnosed autistic. This year it's 1 in 62. Researchers believe more children will die of obesity than starvation. Something's just terribly, terribly wrong. So let's talk about D, the deficiency. We have 2 things we're very deficient in, and one of them is minerals. We need 70 minerals, and the best organic food you'll find maybe has about 12 to 15 minerals out of the 70. Minerals are the cofactor of every enzyme reaction in our body. We are driven by enzymes. They're antioxidants that help carry nutrients from food. They're very, 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 very critically important to us. Each mineral is specific to the action in the body. The second one is amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of our life. There are 20 that we have. 8 are considered non-essential, and that's what our body automatically produces. And the other 12 we need to get from our diets, such as meat, chicken, fish. Vegans have to get them from, a source like maybe tofu or legumes or something like that. And these amino acids are responsible for making us. This month, you will rebuild the lining of your gut 3 times. You will rebuild your liver 2 to 3 times this year, and you will remake every single cell in your body every 7 years. And you don't do that with food, but with amino acids, and we are short on them. In our body, we have natural toxic hunters, what I talked about earlier, and those are molecules. And one that is called glutathione, which goes into the body and looks for toxins. It pulls it apart, makes it water soluble so it can pass out through the kidney and the liver. Because we don't have enough of very specific nutrients, minerals, and amino acids, the body has a certain level of glutathione. When we eat foods and create toxins, and glutathione goes in and pulls them apart, and there's not enough glutathione to deal with all the chemicals like pesticides and herbicides that are now rampant in our world. It's just a horrible situation that we have. Deficiency is such a huge contributing factor because we need specific molecules, botanicals and minerals to make our bodies make the glutathione. So let's talk about the O, which is deficiency causes obesity. 4 years ago, a study on obese children showed that 25 to 30% were suffering from rickets and scurvy. And that's a disease of malnutrition. Not because they weren't getting enough calories, but because they weren't getting enough nutrients. When you don't have the nutrients to increase the glutathione levels, then toxins can run wild. Deficiencies allows toxins to accumulate. The American Society of Endocrinologists calls these chemicals obesogens. Yeah, let that one sink in. They say the disease entering our bodies are reprogramming us so we can survive as a species to gain weight by having the toxins accumulate in our fat cells. And that's why no matter how hard you work out, you can't lose that weight. If you don't solve deficiency, not only are you going to be overweight, your stress levels are going to go through the roof because your body knows there's chemicals are inside of us, and the only way the body can deal with it is to store them in our fat cells. The government has determined a safe amount of glyphosate, which is Roundup. Okay, this is what we put on our weeds to kill them. And the safe level that they say of the glyphosate is 1 per billion. Now, this next thing that I'm going to tell you absolutely blew my mind, and I wish I had known this because I did feed it to my child when he was young. He was born in 1991, and I didn't have this information then. And if I had, I would never have given this to my kid. You know, it's the little pincher food, you know, to help them with their pincher. And what it is, it's Cheerios. And the level of glyphosate is 1,224 parts per billion. That's 1,200 times the safe levels, and we're giving these to our children. And if you take anything away from this video, please stop feeding your children Cheerios. Even if you're thin, you have to get rid of toxicity and turn deficiency into abundance to allow the body to naturally attack this stuff. Did you know that you can fight toxins? Yeah, you can fight toxins by sitting in an infrared sauna as opposed to a regular sauna. It's very good detoxification at certain levels, and a regular sauna does no good whatsoever. You just get hot and sweaty, but you're not releasing any toxins in there. The other thing you can do is you can get a really good source for high pH water. And there's a company in California called Phenomenal Water. I personally do not work for them. I get no money for saying this. They don't pay me. I'm not a spokesperson for them. But I will share with you that they sell a water additive where you can put 1 or 2 ounces in a gallon of water, and it changes your pH in the water from 7 to 11, which will massively reduce the acidity in your body. The number 2 search buzzword on Google is intermittent fasting. And the contrast between nutritional fast, now hear me on that one, that's nutritional fast, opposed to a conventional fast or a water fast. Now the problem with the water fast is it's based on 0 calories, which basically puts your body into starvation mode. And because the brain needs the carbohydrates, it converts your muscles into the carbohydrates to fuel the need for the brain to get the carbohydrates. That's what's happening in a regular fast, or a water or conventional fast. The difference of a nutritional fast, and that's what I personally use, it's extremely low calories and to turn on the natural detox mechanism of the body. On the first day of nutritional fasting, you'll burn off the excess sugar stored in your liver that's called glycogen, and you're getting about 20% benefit. It's after the 24 hours, the body is left with 2 things once all that sugar's gone, and it's muscle and it's fat. Okay. So now, why do doctors say lose 1 pound a week on a diet? Because when you put the body in starvation mode, it can't burn, and that's where nutritional fasting is completely different. You have to get to extremely low caloric intake to turn the mechanism on, but the trick is if you can get give the body massive amounts of nutrients in as fewer calories as possible, then the body will detox. You'll burn off that extra sugar in the first 24 hours, and the second day you have a fire raging. So I'm going to give you a little analogy. So if you've ever gone camping and you've set a fire, you start with the twigs, you add some leaves, maybe some branches, and then you throw the log into the fire. Well, to keep the fire blazing and going, you add more logs. You wouldn't go back and add leaves, right? That's not going to keep your fire going. The logs are going to keep the fire going. So that's kind of the same principle that you're getting with the fat burning zone. And there's scientific evidence that the body releases the stored toxins contained in the obesogens. Now you have massive amounts of glutathione and massive amounts of polysaccharides to hunt those toxins down and pull them apart and make them water soluble so the kidney and the liver can process it out of the body. That's why you need to be drinking half your body weight in water in ounces, not pounds, okay? Half of your body weight in ounces every single day. The last thing I want to talk about is stress. There's two kinds. There's everyday and there's chronic. Now, everyday is like if a bear is chasing you, you're going to get stressed and run or what have you. Down here, I live in Florida, so Florida would probably be an alligator. God, I hope one never does chase me. But that's a stress level, right? Fight or flight. But then there's chronic stress. And that's when it becomes chronic. It shuts your immune system down and 100% will stop the body from burning fat. It decreases the density in your bones. So women that are going through menopause, you have to worry about osteoporosis and osteopenia. It shrinks your brains. Also, it puts the cortisol into your stomach and gives you all that big fluffy fat around the belly. So let's just think about in the future, people coming into the hospitals and there's not enough beds and there's not enough nurses or doctors, and it's already starting to happen. You know, we're so sick. Our society is so sick because of the toxins that we're dealing with every single day. We can't have children, 1 in 3 be born a diabetic. Our kids being born autistic. When I was a kid, I was born in the 60s. There was no such thing as autism that I was ever aware of. And the cancer rates are completely out of control. It's insane. So whatever we're doing just isn't working. So again, my point wasn't to scare you to death. It was just to scare you to health. And I hope that this helps you. Let's go change the world and get us healthy again. Have a good day, everybody.